Hello and welcome to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ryan Gilbert, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Joel Meyer. How are you doing tonight, Joel? How was your week off here?
Relaxing, laid back, which is just what I needed. Let's go back to last weekend. I promised, I gave an over-under of 10 and a half hours of sleep I'd get between Friday and Monday's show. Well, we didn't record until now, so obviously the over hit, but it was pretty close. It was 10 and a half. I think I got 11 in the end. We recorded the show, stayed up to watch the Aussie Open between Xinwen Zhang and Helena Rybakina, or rather Sabalenka. And that was a waste of time. I mean, just Sabalenka was totally dominant, just straight sets, easy win for her. So I was pissed off about that. Went to a friend's house party, stayed there for a few hours, and caught a couple hours of sleep. I woke up early on Saturday just to bet the salami, and then I almost went back to sleep to have a nap because I knew it'd be up forever, but that didn't work. Full slate of hockey. Watched some golf. Because Saturday was the final round there. Then what else happened? Hockey was good. Stayed up again to watch the men's side of this Aussie Open. Yannick Sinner, my guy, he came through. Down 2 sets to love against, man, it's been so long. I'm blanking on what happened. But Dmitry Medvedev, was playing like he played a full 24 hours on court, which is the longest ever at an Aussie Open, at any Grand Slam, actually. So obviously he ran out of gas. And he lost in the end in 5 sets. That was epic. I was thrilled. Not like Alcaraz, Djokovic in terms of quality, but in terms of the intensity and just the thrill of coming back from 2 sets love down was amazing. I was high there. I still up. I made it to Mass. Did not take nice. Because I was obviously not in a state of grace, but. And then I went to the park, met some ducks, good friends.
We saw that in the Discord. Yeah, more reason to get into the Discord.
Yes, I was updating people as my weekend went on, and then football. Man, football was stressful as fuck. Chiefs won, big surprise there. That sucked. And then the Niners. I thought that was gonna go 0 for 2 on the big bets. I was pissed off. Left halfway through the game. Left the bar and. I got home like shortly after halftime and just in time to watch the Niners complete like a 14-point comeback, 17-point comeback in like the space of 2 minutes. So that was insane. And then they held on to win and 34-31, I believe. So yeah, Niners stay alive, won the NFC bets at least. Chiefs are inevitable. That sucked, but great weekend. And it basically took most of the week off from drinking, from everything else, and including betting. But we're back in it now. So let's get at her. All right. Yeah. How was your week? Enough about mine.
Yeah, it was a good relaxing. It was good to not, I like talking to you guys, but it's nice to have, not worry about hockey too much. The games that did go on were kind of shitty, and the teams that I would have bet bigger on didn't do well. So it's a good thing I kind of stayed away and we didn't do a show because I probably would have talked myself into betting some more. But yeah, good relaxing week. Good to see the Flyers needed this bye week as well. That last Saturday. Feels like a month ago now when the Bruins scored like 4 goals in like 2 minutes in the third period to continue that streak. But yeah, the week's been good. Been very relaxing. Been good to just kind of reset here for the All-Star break. Good night tonight in the skills competition. Hit on McDavid fastest skater, McDavid accuracy shooting set plus 750. Missed out on Pedersen for the hardest shot, but I had to take the reigning champion at 2-1 or better there. So another year, another skills competition profitable for me. I'm going to miss it next year with this new 4 Nations tournament, and then the following year too with the Olympics, which we'll get into. But yeah, a big week for hockey, even though there's been really not too many games and not too much to talk about until then.
Yeah, I guess we'll get into that, but you could thank Jimmy Rutherford for getting things going already. It feels like the trade deadline almost, the way that he's set things up. But yeah, I definitely will not miss the All-Star event weekend. I tried to watch a bit of the draft last night. It was embarrassing. That was the most cringeworthy thing I've ever seen. I was like, oh, the draft should be cool or whatever. Oh my goodness. Nobody was excited. The hosts were like fake excited. They tried their best, I guess, but they sucked anyway. And yeah, the celebrities, they all sucked. Justin Bieber, he just kept sitting down. I don't know what the hell he was doing. And then the chick, she just called players' names. Bublé was all right. I guess he was the best. Will Arnett, man, he was so funny in Arrested Development, but it's just nothing since then really amuses me. So yeah, that was a big miss all around. I never saw any of the skills competition or anything, and I'm probably not going to watch any of the game tomorrow.
Yeah, the best thing about the draft was the players getting drunk and like just joking around on the stage with each other, and they ruined that by first of all putting them all on the ice so they couldn't drink or anything. I mean, and yeah, Big Dave was awful. I mean, the best part of it was Michael Bublé after the fact saying that he was on mushrooms the whole time. He felt like he was in Blades of Glory out there. So
that makes sense.
That was the highlight of the draft for most people, and the headline to come out of it. And also, it wasn't fun because it seemed like the captains had deals with each other so they wouldn't draft like their own teammates. Like I think Brock Besser didn't get taken to like the 6th or 7th or 8th round. Like, come on, that's
JT Miller. Like the second last one, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, the draft was a big bust, and yeah, the announcers, the hosts, they just try to play like caricatures of themselves or what they think like a hockey announcer is, and it just does not work whatsoever.
Big miss.
Yeah. All right. Before getting into this more, make sure you are subscribed to the Hockey Even podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating and review, and I'll read it at the end of the show. Follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN and get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Always a good time in there, or you can reach out to myself or Talon or the HGP Twitter account, and we will point you in the right direction. Interesting comment here on YouTube from Catfish saying, Joel, you're a JT Miller doppelganger here tonight with the stubble. You got the beanie on. I don't know. I'm looking at let's look up picture of JT Miller right now. Don't quite have the mustache. JT Miller goes more mustache, but you can get there.
Yeah, I guess, but I prefer my other Canuck resemblance with Kevin Bieksa. I think that's closer to it, especially when I got the comb over going and not this dumb to hide my messy ass hair.
I do see that more, the Kevin Bieksa. I do like that too because he's one of the best commentators on that panel, so it definitely fits well. All right, yeah, we mentioned those trades happen. Let's just get right into it here. On Wednesday night, I believe, it came out that the Canucks were working towards trading for Elias Lindholm from the Flames. Ended up getting him for Andrei Kuzmenko, 2 AHL prospects, and a first-round pick this year, a conditional 4th-round pick that moves up to the 3rd round if Canucks make the Western Conference Final. Joel, I just want to go through your thought process when you heard this go down, as a fan, as someone who has a 150-1 President's Trophy bet, as someone very invested both emotionally and financially.
Yeah, I guess I am a fan these days. That's what money can do. Yeah, I've digested so much content on this trade in the past 2 days. It's hard to separate my own thoughts from what I've heard, but yeah, the initial reaction was fucking right. Excellent. This is just what the Canucks needed. Somebody to man the second line, because it was really the third line. It was the de facto second line with Bluger, Joshua, and Garland, who are playing so excellently and getting more ice time than the I don't know, hodgepodge second line. But now you can put Pettersson with Lindholm, and Lindholm we know from his time in Calgary with Huberdeau, or rather with Gaudreau and Tkachuk, how much he elevated those players and was elevated by them. And I think the hope is that he can do the same thing with Pettersson. We saw how great Pettersson was when put together with Besser and Miller. The problem is that the second line really dropped off after that, and the Lotto line kind of it had a strong start, it had a flashy start, but the 5-on-5 numbers in terms of controlling play wasn't exactly ideal. But this way, you can have a Besser and Miller together; they are excellent, and hope Lindholm and Pettersson work as well as Tkachuk, Lindholm, and Gaudreau did. And yeah, you're cooking with gas there with those two lines up top, and the excellent third line. This is really in theory it should be like the final piece to the puzzle. It really brings the whole thing together, right? The also hope was to get Tanev in the deal. I think the Rutherford and Alvin were pushing for him, but the Flames want too much for now. I think that they'll be going back at it later on, because the Flames do think that they have some leverage there with maybe the best available defenseman before the trade deadline. So yeah, we'll see what transpires there. Lindholm, though, It's great fit. He has had a slow year so far, but like I said, with some better teammates, he can up his offensive game and still maintain the 200-foot excellent backtracking play that he's been known for. Very much a two-way center, which is that. Yeah, again, it's ideal. It fits like a dream in Tocchet's system. So yeah, I love the fit, and they didn't even give up too much. Like you look at Hunter Bershevitz, a Polish guy. Well, obviously not with the first name Hunter. That is a straight North American. But he's actually leading the OHL in points, and he's a defenseman. So that's a bit of a. But he was only drafted last year in the third round, so in that sense, it's not too much to give up. Like the really big pieces that the Canucks have and want to protect were Jonathan Lekkerimäki and Elias Pettersson, the other Elias, and Tom Wielander, the guy they drafted first overall in this past draft. So they were able to save all those, and they're getting rid of a first rounder, which is going to be a late first rounder. And what I'm hearing from this draft is that it really drops off after like pick 18. It's not like last year's draft, which was so deep. But this year, if you're picking in the 20s, it might as well be a second rounder the way it's looking. So really, the Canucks made away with it with a great deal. So this is it's good for both teams too. Like the Flames got Kuzmenko, who is struggling in Vancouver, hardly playing under Tocchet, and with a new change of scenery, he might be able to rejuvenate his old goal scoring form he enjoyed last year, and that's good for the Flames too, because they could flip him too next year because he's signed for another deal, and if the Flames aren't looking too good, then that's another asset they have to get more draft capital. So yeah, I think it's a win-win for both teams, especially the Canucks, especially if they get second, third round or further.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I immediately went on and placed a future on the Canucks to win the cup at 16-1 there. That dropped the next day to 14 at best. Yeah, like you said, like Lindholm is what the Canucks needed. They needed another center so they can kind of have a decent top six and drop that Garland line down to the third line. And for the Flames, I mean, I forgot how good Kuzmenko was last year. What, like 35 goals, like 70-some points? Like he was really good. Yeah, and so now he's going to be playing top line minutes here in Calgary with Huberdeau and Kadri. Maybe he'll get those guys going. And like you said, they can either flip him next year, or if he pans out there, I mean, they have Huberdeau, Kadri locked up. They are going for a retool, so they could be just a part of that relaunch there. But yeah, this really just solidified the Canucks as a top contender in the West for me. I have considered just going all in, or not all in, but going pretty heavy on Tocchet at -110 now to win the Jack Adams. I think, as long as they win the division, he has it locked up, and they could win the President's Trophy at this point. They could get the top seed in the West. So I feel like that's going to be only going to get longer as time goes on here, unless their PDO somehow regresses as we've been waiting for. But I think I mean, Demko's a great goalie in net. They have great shooters. So like the PDO could just be a product of their talent. So yeah, this was a great trade for the Canucks. Flames got back Kuzmenko, who is somebody they could keep or flip. So yeah, this was a good trade by both teams, I feel like, and it also helped even out kind of which country will win the cup, United States or Canada. This definitely evened that out because the Canucks got good odds now. Leafs obviously have a chance. Jets, we'll get to them; they have a chance, and who am I forgetting? Edmonton, yeah, Edmonton are one of the favorites now. So yeah, that's 4 Canadian teams that at least have a chance at the cup. So that's got to be exciting for Canada.
Yeah, a couple things there. First of all, I'm not too scared of the PDO thing anymore, because as the season's gone on, the Canucks are actually getting better in terms of their 5-5 play. Special teams has been solid. The goaltending has kept up. I don't see Demko just falling off now randomly. And yeah, there's an interesting podcast I listened to that explained why it's such a high shooting percentage. It's because the Canucks are leading so often in these games that they don't have to spam shots at the net, which generates these the lower shooting percentage, because you're just trying to get the puck on net from anywhere because you're desperate. But because the Canucks I think they're leading the league or close to leading the league in terms of time spent leading the game. So they don't have to just whip the puck at the net like you're the Hurricanes or the Kings. You can control the play and wait for a decisive moment and wait for those better chances to come. So I think that helps explain some of that PDO stuff, which is historically high. And the second thing, as for Tocchet, I was going to bring this up later or in the next show when we're talking about the Tuesday games. Is my plan is okay. The Canucks play the Hurricanes Tuesday, 7:00 Eastern, and then the Oilers play the Knights 10:00 Eastern. If the Canucks win and the Knights win, that's when I'm going back to the bar, back to the business, and betting way more talk because those odds won't move much, if at all. And that's because if what's his name, Knobloch does not win the win record, there's no way he's winning at all. So yeah, that's when it's really Talkett's award to lose, and -110, -120, -130, whatever in that range will be free money, as they say, because I think he's going to run away with it. Even if Bonus wins the President's Trophy, I don't even think that's enough. So yeah, if that happens, if those two results stand, then that's the plan, because those odds won't move much.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I don't know. Have you seen Tocchet anywhere better than -110? I mean, I only have, I think, FanDuel available to me. And
no, that's actually a good price. He's in maybe even money to -150 I've seen. So
okay, so maybe it's good enough. Yeah, according to morehockeystats.com, the Canucks have led an average of 30 minutes and 16 seconds per game. That's by far the best in the league. Bruins are second at 27 minutes, and then Kings at 24. So like half, they've been leading for half the game, only trailing for 11 minutes per game. That's pretty good, and that does explain that.
The Kings is interesting. They're third, though. I mean, they've had the opposite problem with their poor shooting percentage. But they don't have a lot of goal scorers, though. That's their problem, I guess. And like the Hurricanes do, they just whip pucks at the net from anywhere.
Yeah, the Kings get a lead and they're up by 1 goal, and they just keep firing pucks to try to extend it, and they can't because they don't have anyone to put the puck in the net there. All right. Before we get to our next trade, we're brought to you by the SGP Patreon. The guys just dropped this month's bonus episode behind the scenes of Sean's $200,000 win. This week's Patreon pick'em prize is a free $250 Super Bowl square, plus access to all the pick sheet and exclusive channel on Discord. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon and check out Underdog Fantasy. We're brought to you. Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. No matter the sport, pick higher or lower on your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. You can win 100 times your money with some spicy plays. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. When you sign up with the promo code HGP, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code HGP. All right, you have anything else on that trade, or are we okay getting over to the one from Friday?
I'm sure I've thought of a million things, but I covered the basics sufficiently, and I got a lot less on this one. So,
all right, and on Friday afternoon, the Canadians traded Sean Monahan to the Winnipeg Jets for a first-round pick, and they get a third-round pick in 2027 if Winnipeg wins the Stanley Cup. So I don't know why Montreal wanted that, but whatever. Montreal took on a first-round pick to take Monahan's contract from Calgary last summer, 2 summers ago in 2022. Now they're getting a first-round pick for him, and the Jets, just continue that Western Conference arms race, picking up Monahan, adding some good center depth there behind Scheifele, because now that Connor's back, they have 2 decent lines. Top line Connor, Scheifele, Velarde. Second line Perfetti, Monahan, Ehlers. That's pretty decent depth with Niederreiter, Lawler, and Appleton on the third line. Of course, they have Connor Hellebuyck in net still. Defense, I guess, is their biggest question mark, with Josh Morrissey being more of an offensive defenseman than defensive. But I mean, as long as Hellebuck's a brick wall in net, this team definitely can go some places. So they're second in the West right now, behind Vancouver in terms of point percentage. What do you think about this trade?
Yeah, it's obviously a steeper price than the Vancouver one, considering they got a much better player, and the Canucks got rid of a lot of got some cap space by getting rid of Kuzmenko there. But I mean, Monahan has been a solid player. He's been healthy. I think he's played every game this year, which is important because he's missed a lot of time the past couple of years anyway. And yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's a bit of an overpay because Monahan, he's had a good year this year. But he's still not. I don't think he's a bona fide second center at this point. He's more of a third guy, and they're asking him to play second because I guess they want to move Velarde back to the wing, which is good, I guess, because that's where he's playing in LA. But yeah, it's okay. I mean, anytime you get center depth, the playoffs is good. I mean, Monahan doesn't have wheels. He'll be a bit slow, especially paired next to Perfetti and Ehlers, especially Ehlers, who's got wheels of speed, wheels of he's a fast fucking guy. So yeah, Monahan will look a little slow on that line, and maybe a little bit like Ryan Johansson in Colorado, who's he's done, he's toast. But speaking of that, that's another reason why this has happened so quickly is the domino effect, right? When Vancouver got Lindholm, teams that were interested in him are starting to look elsewhere, kind of maybe a little bit panicky, to just make sure they get somebody, and that's what this feels a little bit like to me. I mean, Cheveldayoff has had one hell of an off season, and then in the past, I don't know, half a year, 6/10 of a year, really since he signed Scheifele and Hellebuyck, all right, really since he signed or traded Dubois to get that massive deal from the Kings, which has worked out incredibly well. But this one, I'm not so impressed, but we'll see. Monahan could be a difference maker going forward, but for now, it's looking a little bit of a steep price to pay. I mean, they're glad to pay the third, of course, to win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, that is an interesting one. I'm not sure if I've seen that before. Make the Stanley Cup. I've seen that condition, but to win it, I can't say I've seen it before. But maybe Montreal are big believers in Winnipeg. It's not like it's a third becomes a fourth. Or a fourth becomes a third. It's nothing.
It's a third round pick 3 yeyears from now. Like these GMs probably won't even be employed by those teams. Wouldn't be shocking.
But shout out to Kent Hughes. He got a first round pick for taking on Monahan's contract when he was injured from the Flames, and then flipped him and got another first round pick. That is ideal rebuilding proficiency by the young GM there in Montreal. So yeah, great job in Montreal. Kind of meh on Winnipeg, but again, he could be the difference that puts more at the top. We'll see. I'm definitely still strong on the Jets in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean that's what they had to do to get Monahan, and that's what teams like Montreal have to do when they're in a rebuild. Weaponize that cap space for a first round pick, and then you can flip them potentially. And they got another first round pick here. Yeah, it's a bit of a steep price, and I wanted to mention it about the first round pick. Like you said, it kind of drops off. Like people view like first round picks as so much better than second round picks, but in the first round, the tiers are probably like, there's just a few top guys, and then there's like a top 10, and then like another top 5. And there's a whole bunch of guys just in the middle, depending on each team's scouting and whatnot. So like from like 25 to 50 could be, every team could have them all ordered differently. So like a first round pick for some teams, it may mean more than for others. I guess Winnipeg is one of those that they're trying to go for it this year. They're seeing Hellebuyck is kind of locked in. They got Scheifele there. They got Velarde. They got Perfetti taking steps forward this season. So they want to kind of capitalize on that. So yeah, I like that for Winnipeg. I like that for my Winnipeg Central Division future bets. And yeah, they're going to be a team, I think, to watch in the playoffs. What are their cup odds right now? Are 16-1 is the best you can get at MGM. I feel like that's probably decent. But the West is wide open in a way where there's so many teams that could kind of take off, but they're also, those teams have so many flaws. Like with the Avs, you said he looks like Ryan Johansson, and the Avs just signed Zach Parise. So that kind of shows how panicked they are right now.
Maybe Parise was the domino. That was the first one to fall. I don't know. The Flames the Canucks got panicked. They had to take Lindholm next.
Yeah. Once Zach Parise is off the board, you got to have things going here. And also, Lindholm was clearly the best guy on the trade bait board. TSN released their trade bait board on Wednesday. Lindholm was 1, 10 F2, Monahan 3. And that's really the only good centers. You got Adam Henrique at number 8. He'll fetch a decent price, but he's like a middle 6 guy. I could see Anaheim just wait until the deadline, and because he's the only good potential second line center left, if you want to call him that. Because after that, you got Jack Roslovic, Morgan Frost is on here. I know Scott Laughton's been in some rumors, but there's no other good two-way centers, even or decent two-way centers, which is, I guess, what Monahan.
Those are all rentals, right?
Yeah. These are all mostly rentals. For
I
trade
got
bait.
one name for you that the Avalanche are interested in. Boone Jenner from the Blue
Boone
Jackets.
Jenner. What's his contract like though?
He's affordable for the Avs if they move Rajo at least. And yeah, he signed for another few years, and the Avalanche.
That's a good deal. $3.75 million until 2026.
Yeah, they'll have to pay up for him, but I think that's an ideal fit. I'm really hoping that happens because after that, it's hard to find strong names.
Let me tell you about a guy named Scott Lawton. He's a great playoff performer, great sandpaper guy. I'm hoping the Flyers can move him for something.
The Avalanche have a long history of dealing with the Blue Jackets for whatever reason. Like half the squad is like connected in some way to the Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't know why, but
was that the Duchesne trade? It went from Colorado to Columbus.
No, he went to the Sens first, and then to Columbus.
Right, yeah.
But no, like JT Compher. Yeah, it's a whole bunch. But yeah, it's Boone Jenner is one to watch as well. He's not a rental, so it'll be tougher to gain him. You'll have to pay more, but I think it could be worth it, especially with how he plays and the affordability of it, in this cap crunch world.
Yeah, because I mean, I was looking at the Avalanche earlier today because I was like, okay, because McKinnon picked Travis Konecny. I'm like, okay, who can we trade Konecny to the Avs for? I was looking at Bo Byram because you guys got 4 defensemen locked up in Makar, Girard, Manson, and Taves, and Byram's going to need to be paid in a few years. So I mean, I can't imagine they'll trade Byram, but yeah, the Avs definitely need to add a center, and that shows why the Jets went out and got Monahan because the pickings were very slim, and they're even slimmer now without Lindholm and Monahan. Teams are going to have to go kind of, like you said, two players like Boone Jenner that aren't rentals because there's not many good centers. There's, decent wingers, Tarasenko potentially, Anthony Duclair, Pat Maroon's number 12 on this list. Jake Gensel if the Penguins fall out of it. Yeah, this is a weak trade deadline, which it's going to be bleak for those guys on Sportsnet, ESPN, TSN, doing it all day long to see where Scott Lawton goes. Yeah. And I want to mention this was the second straight year that the Canucks kind of got a jump on things. Last year it was trading Horvat on January 30th, and now January 31st they got Lindholm.
Yeah, that's another point I was going to bring up. Jimmy Rutherford, he likes to do that. He likes to get his guys early, which makes sense because it gives him more time to gel with the team rather than just trade deadline. Here you go, 1 month away, and then you're in the playoffs, do or die games. But this way, they get almost half the season to get accustomed to new environment, work in the new coaching system, familiarize yourself with teammates. So yeah, that's an even better. That's another good reason for why they did it now. I mean, yeah, it sets the market too. The other teams have to pay more. And yeah, especially when they're dealing with rivals, the teams that you are stand a good chance of playing in the playoffs, and make them pay more, and they get to get less, really, unless Sidney Crosby comes to Denver to play with his mate.
That's how you got to work it, yeah. All right. We're also brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S. based and available in 40 states. Peer-to-peer social betting is a new and better way to bet directly against your friends or other users on sports, politics, pop culture, and other events with verifiable outcomes, plus tons of fun social features that give the feel of a betting social network, like group chats, betting leaderboards, head-to-head history, user profiles, fan groups, and more. Cut offers lower vig and fully customizable odds. You can create your own bets. Cut handles the payment side of things, so you never have to chase anyone down for money. They also give you cash back every single time you bet against your friend or other users. Cut also allows you to list almost any kind of bet, perfect for getting action on those fun Super Bowl prop bets. Cut is the peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S. based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. And Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. All right, we got some another third piece of news here on this Friday with the Kings finally firing Todd McLellan in the midst of just a horrible stretch for them. I don't have count of what their thing is recently, but the Kings have completely fallen off since the first half of the season. Since December 28th, they are 3-8-6. So, I mean, that sounds better because of the 6 loser points, but that's 3 wins in 17 games. I mean, that's not very good after starting the season as well as they did. So McLellan is out there after a few years there. He was named coach in 2019, so almost 5 years. Jim Hiller named the interim. What are your thoughts on the Kings' futures here under Jim Hiller?
Well, he was the assistant coach, and it's always kind of weird when an assistant becomes the head coach. It's like if you were gonna do something, why didn't you do something when you're the assistant? Yeah, so it's not entirely a new voice, but yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I think McLellan was doing an excellent job this year, and even when they're losing games, they're still dominating a lot of the play, and they are legitimately a playoff team, and this move shows that Rob Blake thinks so as well, because in this cap crunch world, you don't have a lot of money to work with, you don't have a lot of room to maneuver to make these deals, and to bring new guys in, shake up the team that way. So you have to resort to just firing the coach and hope it turns out the way that it did for the Oilers, who had a real shock to their system when they fired Woodcroft and brought Knobloch in. So yeah, the Kings are hoping to achieve the same thing here with this move. I don't think it's a statement on what McLellan's done. It's just a statement that Rob Blake believes that this team can go deep in the playoffs this year. And yeah, he's hoping that this move just shakes up the core and gets them motivated again. Just one more thing from the chat again, Dilly. I thought we were anticipating regression from Winnipeg like last year. I don't know if we were anticipating it. I was wary of it. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it could still happen, but there's a few different players in there, a few different voices. We don't have, Blake Wheeler, who's demoted from his captaincy. He could have been a bad egg, and then of course Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's always sulking, another bad.
Who is a bad egg? I mean, he's being proven to be a bad egg.
Yeah, wherever he goes. Yeah, I do think that the Jets are not going to fall off like they did last year. I mean, I don't know if they're good enough. I don't know. Like they're so good defensively that it could mask a lot of their other issues. But yeah, they did all the win without Kyle Connor too, so that's got to be mentioned as well. Now they got another center in there, so no, I don't think the Jets will fall off. I think that if not win the division, they'll be very close right to the end. So yeah, I think that the Jets are for real, and they won't limp dick in losing 4-1 in the first round of the playoffs like last year.
Yeah, and they do have the third highest PDO at 1.031 behind Boston and Vancouver. So like they could have some regression there, but also, I mean, it's easy to fix their flaws when you have Hellebuck at a 9.24 save percentage and Larry Brossoit at 9.26. So, I mean, Hellebuck, when you have the Vezina Trophy winning goalie, that's going to definitely improve your team a lot. And I feel like the Jets were not talked about enough for how well they played without Kyle Connor in there. I mean, he's pretty much a point per game player this year, 29 points in 31 games.
He was up. He was one of the top goal scorers before he got hurt. He was right up there with Matthews and Besser.
Yeah, and Cole Perfetti, big step forward this year, 30 points in 47 games. So yeah, I mean, it was addition by subtraction for them, and that appears to be working out now.
Yeah. So your thoughts on McLellan then?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised. While you were talking there, I was looking if Hiller was like named the coach for now or for the remainder of the season. It appears to be the remainder of the season, because I don't know. I feel like this would have been a perfect spot to bring in someone like Craig Berube. He's done it before. Did it with the Blues. It's a veteran team that would respect him, because like you said, like bringing an assistant coach is a weird dynamic, especially with veterans like Kopitar and Doughty. Like those guys are probably the real leaders in the locker room and like on the ice and whatnot for them. So but yeah, the Kings had to do something. I mean, we talked about this, I think, for a few weeks now. If McLellan could be fired, and they were never able to turn it around. So now's the time to do it. Like, they're still, I think, in a playoff spot. They're still very likely to make the playoffs, but they had to make a change before they fell out of a spot. Yeah, right now they're in the top wild card spot. Blues behind them by 2 points. Predators behind them by 2 points with 2 more games played. So they've fallen from, a top team in the West to that kind of mismatch of this 3 or 4 or 5 wild card teams that could make the playoffs. So I feel like, getting rid of McLellan, the coach always, it falls on the sword because you can't fire all the players, but McLellan didn't do enough to make adjustments to get the team back on track. They have still been playing, decent hockey when you look at their expected goals numbers, but sometimes you go cold for 20 games and the coach pays the price. So I feel like that's what happened here. Also,
and the goaltending just totally fell off.
I was just about to say that. And Cam Talbot, who I was saying could be a Vezina Trophy finalist in the first half and looked that way. He showed his age. He's been showing his age. And their backups. Copley's out for the year, and Big Save Dave now has come in. I think been okay, but he hasn't been great. So yeah, getting getting back into place here. They're 23-15-10. They have more losses than wins this season. They're over hockey 500, but under actual 500. So yeah, they now have a month to set things straight. And if they don't, maybe they're a team that could be one of these teams that kind of buys and sells at the deadline.
Yeah, getting Arvidsson back will be big too. He's one of their better goal scorers, which is what they need desperately.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, other hockey news today. You're very happy about the Olympics. The NHLers are going back to the Olympics in 2026 and 2030. So the both next two Olympics. Also going to be a Four Nations tournament next year in 2025 between U.S., Canada, Finland, and one other country. Sweden. That makes sense. Yeah, Sweden. So yeah, it's gonna. Olympics obviously are fantastic to be back. It sucks that we missed out on the past two, but Gary Bettman finally gets something right. Broken clock is right twice a day. So Gary Bettman doing that kind of it's always good. So yeah, what are your thoughts?
Looks like McDavid just won the $1 million at the skills competition.
Of course he did.
All right. Obviously I'm ecstatic about the NHL going back to the Olympics. As you know, I'm a huge fan of Olympic sports, and getting hockey in there with all the big boys. That'll be huge. I haven't had it since Sochi, I believe. It was still fun, in the last one with the Chinese KHL team representing China. It was wild. And the Germans going far. And of course, making a lot of money on the Finns. That was very nice. But no, getting the real guys back there. Absolutely huge. Players love it. They've been pushing for a while. The IIHF, I hear, are paying a lot of money for this to happen. So even Bettman and the owners are actually in an okay spot, letting their product vanish for a couple of weeks overseas. It's absolutely incredible. We get to see McKinnon and McDavid play on the same team. Hopefully Crosby's still around. He should be only 2 years away.
Mm-hmm.
The
Olympics.
Yeah. We're talking about that now, right? We're not.
Whichever. I mean, Four Nations. Olympics is what matters more.
Yeah. The Four Nations thing, I'm just happy because it's way better than the fucking All-Star break, and that's what replaces it. So that's good.
My only issue with the Four Nations thing is I feel like it's just make it 6. Do a North American under 23 team again, or under 24, whatever you want to make it, and a rest of world and a rest of world team. You don't like that?
Didn't work last time. I don't want to repeat that mistake. Obviously,
it didn't work last time. That was one of they were the most fun team of the tournament.
Fun. I'm not into fun. I'm into.
If you don't like fun, sorry. We took a week break, and I forgot how much Joel hates fun.
Yeah,
but no, I want to see more countries in there. I'd rather see more countries in there, or at least add one rest of world or Team Europe or something.
Yeah, I kind of buy Team Europe with Russia, but obviously the geopolitical thing with Russia makes it hard to do. Although I think that Russia will still be in the Olympics because they will compete under the IOC, the white Olympic flag, whatever. Mm-hmm. The Olympic athletes from Russia, I think they call them. So yeah, hopefully that's at least able to happen if they can't compete under the Russian flag. It's still 2 years away, so things can change. But yeah, Four Nations, that's cool. Always like to see the Canadian team play together, the elite talent. Like, we can talk for a while about the actual rosters. Obviously, Canadians are deficient in goaltending. With looking at Talon's boy Connor Ingram maybe being the best Canadian goalie right now, especially after Carter Hart's fiasco. But yeah, and Americans are stacked. Oh, we can go on about that, but no, I'm absolutely thrilled, absolutely pumped. I love the Olympics, and I love the gold medal game as like it's like usually in the second last day or last day of events. So it's like the crowning moment, the pinnacle, the crescendo, the climax of the Olympics. It makes perfect sense. So yeah, I'm so down. It's fun watching the ex NHLers, the KHLers, the SHLers, the DELers, all these other non NHLers play at the Olympics and the couple pride tournaments. But no, it's nothing like the real thing. Yeah, so looking forward to another golden goal moment with like Sidney Crosby in Vancouver in 2010, or whenever that was. I think it was 2010. Yeah. Anyway, absolutely pumped.
Yeah, it's exciting to have that back. It's good that it's going to be in Italy. Italy is 6 hours ahead of the East, so it should be, I would imagine games in the morning to the afternoon. I imagine that the big games would be like 7 p.m. their time or later, so you get it the afternoon Eastern, morning Pacific. So that's good to see. It's not like in some weird country it's going to be the middle of the night, so that's good there.
Australia, I have to stay up all night again.
Yeah, I have to just change my sleep schedule for that month of Olympics there. Yeah, there's going to be 2 cities for the Four Nations, one in Canada and one in the United States that they have not been announced yet. But something interesting about the rink in Italy is going to be built to NHL size, not Olympic size. So that could even add more of an advantage for Canada and North and United States over Russia or whatever Russia plays under, or other teams like that. Also, yeah, it's gonna be great seeing the contrasting styles between Canada with no goaltending and the Team USA, who's going to have a few guys to choose from. I mean, Hellebuyck will still be decent, I think, in 2 years. Ottinger could be the number one by then. Like they'll have it'll be great.
American, right?
Swayman is American. Yeah, they have plenty of options. It's just great to see best on best hockey. It does suck that we weren't able to see that during the past 10 years during some of these players' primes, and it would have been really exciting.
Yeah, no doubt. As for the NHL or size rink, that's good because you'd think with the bigger sheets of ice you'd see more speed, more space, whatever, but it turns into more of a passing game, kind of like 3-on-3, which is no fun. But the NHL size makes it more intense, more cramped in terms of spacing, so you get some more hitting, and it's ultimately faster in the end that way, a little bit more. If you think about it, just think of like the UFC, whatever, or for fighting where you have a huge cage, or compared to like a tiny little cage where they could just like smash each other. So that's the advantages of the NHL size rink to me over the international.
Yeah, we can go on for this about hours. I'm sure we will when we have Talon back next week. We'll probably discuss this again. I know he's pumped about it. Maybe he'll start training again and be ready to be Team Canada's goalie in 2 years. There'd definitely be worse options out there. All right, you want to touch on Monday's games here? We do have lines out for them. You did mention that. You want to do that, or want to just
I'll go real quickly. I got nothing on the Isles Leafs.
Yeah, Isles Leafs. I was at the Leafs. The Leafs are going to be home now after the All-Star break. I did look last year after the All-Star game in Florida. The Panthers beat the Lightning 7-1 coming out of that. So I do think the Leafs do have an advantage. I put a small bet on them on the puck line plus 136.
All right. Sounds right. But the other one, I love the over, and for obvious reasons. I mean, where are Shesterkin and where's Georgiev right now? No, they're the All-Star game, and this is most teams at least get 2 days off after the game. This is just a 1 day off, and then they're back at it. And so obviously it should be the backups. I mean, we mentioned Jonathan Quick has had an excellent year, but maybe not so much lately. And he's had a lot of time off. Who knows where the fuck he went? Maybe he went down to Cabo, Hawaii, wherever. He's not going to be in the best shape. And then the Avs, it'll be Justus Anunen or Prosvetov, neither of which are any good. So this number is going to go over 6.5 at even money. It'll rise over the course of mostly on Monday, I imagine, as the goalies are announced. But either way, it's an avalanche game anyway, and maybe McKinnon, will be a little slow, whatever. But the Avs are not playing good defense, and if things continue the way they were for the past few weeks before the All-Star break, this one is going to sail over. Rangers are still good on the power play, though it's kind of come down a little bit. So yeah, I that's the only bet I've made so far. The Avalanche Rangers over 6.5 at even money is a good bet, I think.
Yeah, you can still get that at plus 110 at FanDuel, even money DraftKings, but MGM it is up to minus 106 on Kambi Books. Yeah, if you can get plus money on that. I mean, these are both teams that have mostly gone over this season. Avs 29-18-2, Rangers 26-21-2. And it should be the backups, like you said. I mean, unless, Georgiev and Shesterkin are going to be talking this weekend, and I kind of want to go at it on Monday. But either way, I feel like the over, because it's going to be probably a lot of sloppy play there. I don't know when teams are like allowed to travel for the All-Star break either. Like I know there's that rule at the holiday break, but I don't know if like teams can the Avs get into New York on Sunday? Like I don't know what the situation is.
I think as long as the players get the requisite break, it's all good. I'm sure that they'll all be back with their teams by the Sunday, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, anything else you want to touch on here? Any futures and tip of your tongue? Anything before we close it out?
Yeah, I mean, Talon and I are rooting for a lot of the same, or one of the same person in the golf tournament, the Pebble Beach. We got Justin Rose, who's kind of fallen off a bit, and Ludwig Aberg. He's currently tied for the lead. I got Thomas Dietrich in the lead. I got him at 225-1. He's not going to win, but it's fun. He's fun rooting for him. He's down to 12-1 now, so that's fun. And then Talon has all the big dogs: Cantlay, Shoffley. He's out of it. And Scheffler, though, he's tied for the lead as well. So Talon's in good shape. I'm in, not the best shape, but I've got all these crazy long odds. So hopefully one of them comes through. So that's what I'm rooting for on the weekend with not much else going on. And one more word on the NBA MVP. What was it, 2 weeks ago? I mentioned Embiid for MVP, but the stipulation that he's got to play all 65 games. And now with this knee injury, it's not looking likely. He's probably done, almost certainly done. So when that happens, all the equity, all the win probability went straight to Jokic, which makes sense. In the last straw poll, he was second, and he's the natural conclusion most came to when if it's not Embiid, it's got to be Jokic, and that's where all the money went immediately. I kind of disagreed because SGA was still around the same price. Maybe a little bit went to Giannis, a little bit went to Doncic, but SGA was still plus 350, plus 400. So that's where I put my stake. I think he's still around 3-1. And the reasoning is that Jokic right now, he'd win. He's in the lead, but he's not exactly playing the best. I mean, he's got all these great underlying numbers and all these stats. But and if he was against Embiid, I think that they would give it to Jokic if it was close, just because of how it went last year, and with Jokic winning the title and Embiid going home fairly early. So they would just go with Jokic because he earned that trust. He proved he was the better player. But Embiid or Jokic versus SGA is a bit different because we have a new face in town. We know that the voters love to award something new. They love to see and recognize something new. And SGA is that with Jokic already winning 2 MVPs. So I think SGA is very live. I think they should be priced about equally. So at 3-1, I think that if you want to go to the well with Joel's MVP bet once again, then that's the way I'd be looking. And as far as I know, he doesn't have injury histories, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are rolling right now. They just beat the Nuggets without Jokic, to be fair. But I think SGA is very live for this award. I don't think the Jokic should be a minus number.
Yeah, the Jokic is up to minus 155 as high as that. I say SGA. Seems like a good handicapping by you there. I'm happy you guys got golf back. It's always good to hear you guys talk about it. Talon takes 5 of the biggest favorites and puts a few bucks on them each, and he comes out winning sometimes. So yeah, it's always good to have back for you guys.
Yeah, well, it's a week early for me because there's fuck all going on this weekend. So I thought, hey, I might as well throw down some golf bets. And actually, I actually won this tournament last year with Justin Rose. So I do have some success betting this one. But yeah, I thought I only started going off at the Phoenix during the Super Bowl week, but apparently no, I do bet before then. And my memory is not what it used to be.
That's what I thought too. I saw you post your plays in the Discord, and I was like, I don't think Joel's betting golf yet, but I guess he is. Because he's that bored this weekend.
Yeah. There's nothing else going on really.
Yeah. All right. Make sure you subscribe to the Hockey Gambling Podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating and review, and I'll read it here at the end of the show. Also, if you are a Flyers fan or want to hear more of my content, I did start the Broad Street Hockey Podcast this week. 2 episodes are out. One from earlier this week, one from later this week. Very Flyers centric. So I have another place to talk Flyers now. I won't bore you guys with all this talk.
Is it a solo pod or who are you with?
No, a few of the different Broad Street Hockey writers there. It's going to be a kind of a cycling host there.
Nice.
Yeah, make sure you check that out if you're a Flyers fan or if you're just desperate to hear more of my voice for some reason. I mean, go ahead, Mrs. M. I know she's listened to it a few times already. So, get in the Discord, sg.pn/Discord. Follow us on Twitter at HockeySGPN. Should be back to our regularly scheduled programming next week with big Tuesday, 8 games Tuesday, 7 games Thursday, 13 games Saturday. So we'll at least go 3 times next week. So make sure you guys are subscribed and all that good stuff. All right. I'm Ryan Gilbert. You can follow me on Twitter at rgilbertsop.
I'm Joel Meyer, and you'll find me not watching the All-Star game.
Yeah, I unfortunately will because I'm a sicko. See ya.